Our headquarters is in San Francisco, and it is an area that is known for its discerning buyers in terms of being, our technology legends and founders and CEOs of best companies. And within that, we've learned some best practices as it relates to not only sustainability, which I think is something that has grown significantly around the world, but also in terms of this idea of wellness and building health. The USGBC started something called the Building Health Initiative, and we were part of the founding group, which included Facebook, Google, Salesforce, Adobe, UCSF, Genentech, Kaiser Permanente, and a few others. And our mission as a company has been to share and educate what building health means, as well as our efforts towards sustainability. Even in a smaller project like a single family home, I think the impact for the future is really super important. During this pandemic, areas of building health has increased significantly. And I find it here as ambassadors in real estate that we all are, that it's important for us to help make a difference in the building of the future. So I'm going to share a quick video with you for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll carry on. Gregory Malin, CEO of Troon Pacific, and I'm very pleased to present Residence 2582, located at 2582 Filbert Street in San Francisco. This is a newly constructed 12,200 square foot home on 3 levels, 6 bedrooms, and 7 bathrooms. It's truly a high performance home centered on health, wellness, and sustainability. The dramatic entry is both awe-inspiring and inspired by nature. The glass stairway is cast with natural patterns. The water feature is calming, and the hand-chiseled stone wall ascends to an oversized skylight that leads to a roof deck with panoramic bay views. This home is flooded with natural light and fresh air through its expansive openings, pocket doors, and operable skylights. We bring the inside out through amenity-driven exterior spaces on every level. Wellness amenities include an open-air gym with a yoga deck, a spa with steam room and sauna, a hot tub, and a UV-filtered lap pool surrounded by lush private gardens. Every detail matters. We believe state-of-the-art systems and science-driven construction strategies are the backbone of every healthy home. From acoustic and thermal treatments, to healthy material selection, to leading-edge air and water filtration systems, this home mitigates toxicity and supports tranquility and well-being. Wellness has been our mission for the last 20 years, and I see a future where this grows from an option to an expectation. So thank you very much for listening to that. I think it's really important for us in terms as a company. We really began from our roots in Norway, where we learned this sort of European sensibility, and that combined with our own American values of pushing boundaries has given us a way to kind of approach development by trying to be lighter on the land, environmentally friendly, connected to nature. We like the idea of showering and rainwater, using whatever it may be that is better for the planet and human health. Our model is somewhat differentiated. We have a concept in the US called a B corporation, which means a for-benefit company. And the for-benefit company puts social purpose on par with other business goals. Our idea as an organization is to learn from each project that we do and come up with ways of learning from the lessons of what went wrong or what went well. But doing that requires, to some extent, being vertically integrated. So we do have our general contracting, interior architecture, construction administration, and even our lighting design is integrated into the company to help us ensure that we're trying to achieve these goals and learning from our lessons from the past. it's a holistic approach to our development. Not only are we pursuing high standards in the US, we use the US GBC Lead for Homes program. Our last 7 or 8 homes have been LEED Platinum, earning the highest levels of environmental responsibility. But they're also energy efficient and they're durable. But we've been influenced by other certification processes. There's a group called the Living Building Challenge. There's WELL Certified. There's Passive House, Energy Star, all of which we feel have taught us best practices as we've contemplated or attempted to do any and all of those. And each time that we do this, we also develop our own standards of construction. We believe in the beginning every project, having our stakeholders together to determine what is unique about the challenges that we're going to propose to this specific location at this specific time. How can we accomplish that and make our projects last longer? What strategies can we combine for health and comfort? And how do we control our quality? And at the same time, using our creativeness in interior design to help maximize connections to inside or out. To come up with clever initiatives in terms of our own glass, whether it be glass stairs or operable skylights or light wells to deliver light in unique ways. But we want to deliver on our brand aesthetic. We're believers in providing amenities in our developments that are also related to health, whether that be a lap pool or steam room or a sauna and gym. Each of these things are very important towards giving people reasons to encourage them to have health. We call it, in fact, there was a book by Richard Thaler that was called Book Nudge. And it was a contemplation of doing things that help activate oneself to want to go outside and do more important things with our families, to sort of nudge us to actually entertain or to swim or to go to gyms. But it's also about gathering and having things like places for us to encourage family to be together, like a theater. We realize that this is a very exclusive offering. And we have to contemplate, what do we do differently about how we bring exclusively to be more inclusive? So one of those things is taking leadership. Being here today to talk about building health and wellness is important to our mission as a company. But we also have started another sister company called Performance Realty, which is doing workforce housing and providing the same lessons of sustainability and wellness in real estate towards those other business goals and making it more inclusive to more people. But getting into some of the specifics of what we do differently in terms of how we approach our developments. First and foremost, we're thinking about our sustainability and how we, in California, very near and dear to our hearts, is this very fact of both water conservation, but we add a layer of human health to that. So for water conservation, we do rainwater harvesting tanks for every project that we do. There we have stormwaters that's captured anywhere from 2,000 to 12,000 gallons of water for a single family home. And we use that to irrigate our plants, but we also collect gray water. And we're using that from the showers and the lavatories in a home. And we're using that to irrigate, but also to flush toilets. So these are ways of uniquely approaching our water, even our site water that we're collecting. And this is partially on a roof. So that's areas where we can collect the water and also bring that into our rainwater sustainable areas. So we do things like bioretention facilities, but we also want to be careful about how we use water. So not only are we using water efficient toilets and showers, but we're also using smart controllers and drip irrigation. We're using permeable pavers to bring our water table, water from rain back into the water table. But really important in urban environments is having a bioretention facility for planters because those bioretention facilities then prevent the water from going into the storm drain and being processed. So in each of these things, we have our best practices for that, but also for human health. So according to the Environmental Protection Agency in the US, we know that threats to drinking water are increasing, and we no longer can just take drinking water for granted. This is truly going to be part of the dialogue for everyone around the world, I believe, long into the future. We are finding things that are happening within our water that are much more complicated than we imagine. So to have healthy water, you can't just siphon everything out of the water and then have no minerals at all. So it's really important to use techniques, and we have one that we're using, which is a Japanese company, that's adding various layers of natural ancient seabeds to use as a sort of a natural, almost a natural way to filter water as if it was going through the earth. But the idea is to remove chlorine and its byproducts, pesticides, herbicides, metals, and carcinogens. And then we want to preserve these natural minerals and have healthy water. But sometimes we're finding every year, every month, we're finding new things in our water supply because we're testing for them. So things like PFAS are now becoming a bigger issue. But one of the things that was actually surprising is, I don't know if you've heard this, but in the Thames, there's a consistent, albeit low, level of Prozac in the water. And so using things like pharmaceutical filters are becoming ever more important. Beyond water health, we look at human health. We'll look at this concept of biophilic design. This is something that nurtures a soul, but it's something that has been proven to reduce your own stress levels and improve cognitive health. And it's really this practice of connecting oneself towards nature. So some of these things include doing things like expansive views or abundant ways of receiving daylight, connecting, in this case, a steam shower to nature, celebrating natural textured materials, thinking about the way that patterns are captured in building materials, whether it be naturally stone walls that are being chiseled by hand, or even in this case, stairs in the center there actually have a natural pattern, a leaf-like pattern from the way that it's poured. So we believe in connecting the home between the interior and exterior with expansive connections of glass, not only sunlight, but allowing airflow. We have an operable skylight at the top of the atrium that allows the cool air from the basement to come through the home and cool the house naturally. We think about fixtures that have patterns towards things like coral or ripples or plant vascular systems to use those inside their homes. But it's constantly finding ways to connect people to the outdoors and to human health. And this is something that we feel is sort of an important element for any type of development. But also near and dear to our heart is indoor air quality. Here, we take this very seriously. The average American spends 90% of their time indoors. And we know that indoor air pollution is currently ranked by the Environmental Protection Agency as one of the top 5 environmental risks to health. Poor air quality contributes to such things as respiratory disease, heart disease, cancer, and clean air is proven to improve not only physical health, but cognitive health. So we like to find ways to improve how we approach that. So before we start any development, we actually put a ventilation system underneath the concrete slab of our construction, and we actively ventilate it above our homes. We ventilate our shoe closets and shoe cabinets and closets, but we're ventilating and exhausting air out of under kitchen sinks and laundry rooms where you store chemicals. And we're putting fresh air into all the bedrooms. Our clean air initiatives include having recirculation of air up to, well, we like to say 12 times a day, and we often are doing it 9 or more. And we want to use things like bipolar ionization, where we believe that that's helping reduce not only something like COVID, but it's also reducing these small 2.5 PM particles. So it helps capture them proactively and make it safer. And this is something very important for us in California, because in California, we're dealing with, with wildfires constantly. So especially with environmental change that's happening in the world. So all of these are some of the important initiatives that we feel that are essential towards our developments. But so is healthy material selection. So here, this is one of the more difficult things to do, because most companies don't know what goes into the products that they sell. They're not sure where the paint comes from or the oil that they're using, where that comes from. And to get to know 100% of the content of the products that you use in your home is very difficult. But what we can do is, and we've had a team of people on this, is literally vet the industrial content of sealants, of glues, of the paint that you use. We actually remove hydrocarbons from the house by taking hydraulic fluid out of our elevators, and we use vegetable oil. Our elevator company didn't even know you can do that. We use sources of natural materials wherever we can, less chemical treatments. And the sealants that we use, we're trying to do that as a matter of water soluble, or things that don't have carcinogens, or what we call red list chemicals in. And there's a number of agencies that we've used that have that help you with identifying those things, Cradle to Cradle, and there's Green Shield, and a few others that I'm happy to share with you. But this is the way we approach construction. These are the ways that we learn from every project that we build, and we enjoy the opportunity to share that with you today. So thank you.